5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Ladies and gentlemen, please make some noise for
David Wright.
David Wright.
David.
The Afternoon Show
With David Wright.
Very good afternoon and welcome to The Right Way with me, David Wright, here on this lovely, warm, sunny afternoon. And a very big thank you to John Alex for keeping us entertained this afternoon. Thank you, John. So, yeah, another warm and sunny day here in Almeria. And they say we're having an Indian summer with temperatures set to hit 32 to 34 again this Saturday and Sunday. Bring it on. That's what I say. Looks like it could be another pool weekend. Okay, so let us know what you're doing in the comment section. Come and join me for the next hour, keeping you entertained here with all the latest tips and advice, information on living and working in Spain, and some great music as well. Coming up on today's show, I've got some changes this week to the retirement age in Spain. You're going to hear all about that coming up a little bit later on, and some bad news for cyclists coming up on the show a bit later on.
Helping people who are living and working in Spain. It's The Right Way with David Wright.
So the comment section has rebooted, so come and keep me company for the next hour here in Almeria Radio. And have you seen the news about Shakira? Well, just weeks before Shakira goes on trial in Barcelona for tax fraud, the prosecutors have filed new charges amounting to 6.2 million euros in back taxes that she hasn't paid. And the prosecutors are now asking her to serve a minimum of 8 years in prison and 24 million euros in fines. Poor old Shakira. Let's keep her company with this one.
Ladies up in here tonight. No fighting.
We got the refugees.
No fighting. No fighting. Shakira.
live.
David Wright. David Wright.
Simone there, don't let me be misunderstood. Now it's time to say a big thank you to the sponsors of my show, Next Stop Ibiza, a professional relocation service and property search in Ibiza. NextStopIbiza.com understands the challenges and the joys of relocating to Ibiza and is committed to making your transition as seamless and stress-free as possible. So if you're thinking about buying or renting in Ibiza or relocating there, then go straight to NextStopIbiza.com.
Heartbroken.
David Wright. Help and advice for living and working in Spain. You're listening to The Right Way. The Right Way with David Wright.
You're listening to The Right Way with me, David Wright. Well, did you see the news for these bikes? Cyclists, a bit of bad news for cyclists. I don't mind a bit of bike riding around where I am. I'm into a little bit of cycling, but not a real enthusiast. But some bad news for cyclists in Spain now. Some Spanish cities are now getting rid of bike lanes in the cities in favour of cars. They're saying it's help the cars with the congestion in the cities. Some bike lanes have been taken away even after big protests from hundreds of people. Now in Elche, up in the north of Spain, and 3 other Spanish cities have now removed several of the bike lanes in the main city centres in favour of cars, and they're saying it is helping with the congestion. So what do you think? Is that a good move or is it a bad move? That was David Overde or Severe, I'm not quite sure how you pronounce that one. Anyway, Spanish one, my first Spanish one today. Okay, so you're listening to The Right Way with me, David Wright, and I did tell you last week about the news for the 29th of September, that's tomorrow, the new dog civil liability insurance. That has been scrapped at the moment. It's been put on hold, so sorry about that. If you've already paid, you might be able to get some money back from that, but it has been put on hold. Spanish government says they're not sure how they're going to be policing it yet. They need to do some more infrastructure in that. Maybe they should have done that in the first place. But so yeah, the Spanish civil liability insurance for dog owners in Spain, it will be going ahead. This will be something that will be coming out in the near future, but they're saying it could be another several months before they get round to processing it properly. So the date was for tomorrow, the 29th of September. Put it on hold now. You don't have to worry about that just yet.
Join me, Danny FS.
Say hi to everyone in the comment section. We've got Robbie, Danny FS, Rita Grange, John Olos G, John Alex, Fiona M, Ima, Benvenido Ima, and Rob Webber and Chris and Guy all joining us in the comment section this afternoon. So thanks very much for you guys joining me. I'm going to be giving you some news about the Spanish pensions. There's some new news out on the Spanish pensions that came out this week. I'll be telling you all about that right after this.
Live.
And San Juan.
So this week, the Spanish government has decreed that starting in the year 2024, next year, the state pension age will increase yet again to 66 and 6 months. 66 years old and 6 months. And until it will also increase further up to the year 2027 when it finally reaches 67 years. So yeah, they're putting it up each year. So will you ever reach that age? A lot of people are worried about this. It's been changing for some time now. But yeah, 66 and 6 months it goes up to next year, and it's going to go up till 67. I think by the time I reach their retirement age, it'll be more like 80. So what do you think? Is that a good thing for Spain? And are people going to reach that age now? I think that with health cover, people are living longer in Spain, so maybe that's why they're putting it up. But is it a good idea, or should you not have to wait? What do you think? Nora Jones there. So talking about pensions, if you're a Brit and you've got a UK state pension, but you might have some gaps missing from your national contributions, perhaps because you've moved abroad or some other reason. Well, now the British government have extended the rules a little bit and they give you time to fill in these gaps so you can claim a full state pension here when you're at pensionable age. And if you want more help and advice on pensions, we have an expert that can give you a free consultation over on my information page. That's over on, if you go over to the Almeria Radio website, click on the drop down menu on the right hand side there and go over to my page. That's the Right Way with me, David Wright, and see the information page. On the information page there's a link to the experts that can give you some free consultations about your pension here in Spain or in the UK. Okay, so it's time for Artist of the Week. The Artist of the Week, you for me.
Helping people who are living and working in Spain. It's the Right Way with David Wright.
So I did a post today on one of my sites about learning Spanish, and I said on there that it was never too late to learn Spanish and how I feel it's important to learn Spanish and learn the language of the country that you live in. Well, you wouldn't see the feedback I got. I got some real stick for posting that, saying that I was being disrespectful to British people that couldn't learn or found it hard to learn. Now, you know, we as Brits are the first to moan if somebody moves to the UK and they can't speak the language there. You know, we always tend to moan about them not learning the language. So yeah, it applies here in Spain as well. And yes, you can live in Spain without speaking Spanish, and you can get on pretty well here, as I know a lot of British people do. But you will be missing out on so much, and it seems a shame that you won't be able to don't want to learn to understand the language of the country that you're living in. So I'm going to give you some tips here that could help you. And remember, it's never too late to start learning. And then I started here in Spain 21 years ago, and my first 2 years here I didn't speak any Spanish at all. I thought I knew a few words, but really it was very bad, very poor Spanish indeed. And I started going to classes here. I went to lessons, couldn't get on with the classes. I'd never liked school as a kid anyway, so as an adult sitting in a class with other adults, it was always fairly difficult for me. I couldn't get on with that. So what I did, I ended up taking some private lessons, one-on-one classes, a little bit more expensive, but I found that way I went up my pace. Now we all learn at different speeds here, and you really only learn in a class as fast as the slowest person in the class. So it's a good idea to maybe have some private lessons. It might be a little bit less embarrassing and you will pick up stuff a lot faster. That's one of my first tips. The second one is role play. I did role play in the class with my Spanish teacher, and what I mean by that is I was learning to be a carpenter here. Well, I was working as a carpenter here, and I wanted to learn Spanish related to my job. I wanted to go out and order my materials and be able to buy stuff in shops that was related to carpentry. So that's what we did. One day the teacher was the shopkeeper of, say, like a ferreteries. That's a DIY shop here. And I went in and asked for some hinges, some nails and screws and things like that. So we used these lessons to learn vocabulary that I would go out and actually use. So literally after my class I'd go to the shops and I would go and order my materials, learning what the types of wood were and how big, how tall, how long, how thick, all these sort of words that you're going to use. Now you can adapt this to any kind of job or any kind of lifestyle here in Spain. If you're retired here and you just want to go and order food and drinks or give directions or learn the time, you can do the same thing in role play. And I found that as a really good way of learning. So tip number 3 is join Spanish clubs. Now there's loads of clubs here in Spain and most of them are free to join. You just need to go down to your local council offices and ask there and join some Spanish clubs. Like for example, I joined a walking and hiking club here, went out every 2 weeks on a Sunday with a group of Spanish people. It was a great way of seeing different parts of the countryside that I've never seen before, and I got to practice Spanish with people there, so that was really good. So that's tip number 3. Tip number 4 is meet-up groups. Now you can do some of these meet-up groups. You can arrange with local Spanish people who are interested in learning English and just go along and have a coffee with them, meet up, and you soon start to build up these groups. I started off doing this in Almeria City with just one girl, and then I had a couple of girls, and then there was a couple of guys, then an older Spanish bloke came along, all people that want to learn English, and we practiced English and Spanish in these groups. And finally, tip number 5 is the apps. There's loads of free apps you can download for your PC or your mobile. It's a great way of learning, and these apps can be a fun way of learning as well. Now I started off by learning the easy kiddies ones, the really simple stupid kiddies games. Play these apps, they're all free, the free ones, and then if you find one that you like, then you can pay for the upgrade. Now the upgrade is normally around 99 cents for the upgrade, so it's really cheap if you find one you like. But chop and change, try these apps and see what you like. Now that's the 5 tips, and if you want to know the best apps, if you go over to the Almeria Radio website, go over to my page there, and on the information page I've given you a list of the 10 top famous apps that you can download completely free here in Spain, and you can learn Spanish through these apps. So go and check it out over on my page. That's The Right Way with me, David Wright. Hope that helps.
Broadcasting live.
Bit of Bob Marley there. You're listening to The Right Way with me, David Wright, Almeria Radio 107.5 FM. So yeah, talking about learning Spanish, and many doors open up for you once you learn some basic Spanish here. And when I first started, I was working for English clients here. My Spanish was pretty basic first few years, but once I learned to speak Spanish fairly well, I did start getting some Spanish clients. And when the crisis hit here many years ago, things started to dry up, but it kept me going, having extra clients, having the Spanish as well. So yeah, all doors open up to you here, and I made some great new friends, a lot of Spanish friends through work and through work contacts, and also going through these clubs. And joining clubs here is a great way to mix with new people, Spanish people, meet a load of people, and all sorts of things open up to you. I learned things about buying property here that I would only have learnt from the Spanish local people. I learnt about the areas of Spain, different things about parts of Spain here, which I wouldn't have found out from the British people. So yeah, it is worth going along to some of these clubs. As I say, they're free. Go to your local council offices. You can find out about these. The other thing is go to the sports centres as well. You always see a poster up in the sports centres for clubs and things that are going on, activities. It's going to be in Spanish, obviously, but you can get the gist of it. That's how I found my local gym, a walking club. I went along and joined. Felt a bit embarrassed going along the first time. I didn't speak very much Spanish, and I didn't know what it was all about. Went along, and they was very, very welcoming to me, very helpful indeed. And it led to me joining a mountain climbing club. That led to me to going climbing the highest mountain in Spain, in Mulhacén. And that led me to going to join a salsa dancing club, which led to me going to meet my Spanish wife. So you never know. Might find the love of your dreams just by learning a bit of Spanish.
Live.
David Wright. David Wright.
David.
The Afternoon Show.
And a very big afternoon to Tracy Fowler, Windows, Johnny Boy, thanks very much for joining us, and also Margaret and Cat Dog join us in the comment section. Thanks very much, guys, I appreciate that. And remember, any of the information you want, you can go over to the Almeria Radio website, click on the drop down menu there, and I've got an information page on my page. That's The Right Way with me, David Wright. There's an information page there with all the links to all the information that I give out on my shows here, and there's also free consultations with a financial assistant here, and also a top lawyer and the honorary British consulate for Almeria. There's all their contact details there. So if you've got a question, something you're worried about, you can go over there and have a confidential conversation with them, and they will help you out with any of the problems you have. That's over on my information page. So I hope that helps you out there. And if you want any more information, tips and advice on living and working in Spain, remember to come and check out my page. That's The Right Way with me, David Wright. And you can come over there. There's got my website, YouTube videos, all the sorts of information from my 21 years living here in Spain.
The Hit Mix with Rob Mack.
That's it for another show. I'll be back same time, same place tomorrow. Up next, it's a 5 o'clock Hit Mix with Rob Mack.
And you let it go out. Tell your friends you hate me. As you're calling from outside my house.